Yeah, no, I have the statement up. It's just he posted it right when I started this game, so I wanted to play this first. I am no longer the CEO of Panda, and I will no longer be a part of the Smash community. I do not wish to return. Community deserves the truth, and I'm not afraid to call out names I have to. The private information of myself and members of Panda have been leaked online. This has gone too far. If there's anyone who is interested in purchasing my shares of Panda, please reach out to the company. Divesting is a complex process that takes time. Okay. So he wants to fully step away from the community after everything here, and he's about to drop the hottest potato the community's ever seen with names as well. I don't know who would really want to buy his shares with the state Panda's currently in, but I guess after the statement, I haven't read it yet. Maybe it's a really strong statement that somehow saves the company, and that might be an appealing offer to someone. We'll see. For a quick summary, the actual truth here is a message of notes I took during a conversation with a TO on April 14th, 2022. Gimmer and Kin hate you, man. Tell me something for real. This is apparently what stopped him from signing earlier. Kin said that you said you'd kill everyone who doesn't work with you. Is that true? Yeah, so it turns out Kin is spreading shit. Per Kin, I don't like Alan, but if they're really offering all this, then even I'd take it. Per Gimmer, how long have you been working together? 8 years, and you're really going to do this to us? This is like... Why is it written like this? It was to the point that blank even asked blank, how do you really feel about Panda? Do you have any hesitations? To which blank said he has none, blank. Redacted. This is like a CIA document. Everything's fucking redacted. So I was able to assuage his fears and explain that I am not... no, I am not and have not threatened to kill events. I also told him I'm not threatened by Smash World Tour and have no reason to want to kill them. Explained that Nintendo can't license events on an unlicensed circuit, being the real reason why our circuit is exclusive. Blank. I additionally explained that I've offered many ways to work with BTS and I'd rather work with them, not against them, but they just won't talk to us. So, yes, blank does believe us because the shit Kin was telling him to counter everything we've done as a company and who we are as people, but that explains a bit of why I was holding back. He also mentioned that Kin/BTS feels very threatened by us, and so does Smash World Tour. No thoughts on what to do. I don't really care that much. It's clear Kin is trying to actively undermine us, but considering that everyone is willing to work with him or talk with us outside of blank, I don't think he's been very successful. This is all a very confusing read-off rip. Right away, though, he mentions that BTS and Smash World Tour feel threatened by them. It feels like the opposite. What are you talking about? The whole community was celebrating Panda working with Nintendo, including the other orgs. I don't really know where that's coming from. The Smash community has always been very symbiotic, where when one org is thriving, every org is thriving. Like, they all work together in the same bundle of success. It's not really like, oh man, Panda's doing well, now we're fucking threatened because now our shit's gonna be bad. Like, if Panda's doing well, it means now there's more interest, and that is good for the other events too, and it's always felt that way. Maybe it was different behind the scenes with Alan. I don't really know. It's super hard to decipher this mess right here. But the impression I've always got is every tournament organizer likes when other tournaments are successful because it's mutually beneficial to everyone. But I could absolutely see people not liking him. Like, there's been a lot of stories that have circulated now with relationships with Alan that are less than favorable. But it seems like he's blaming people that don't want to work with him on BTS or Smash World Tour not working with him. Like, at least that's the impression I'm getting here from this jumbled notes. The events and claims that I will be making are true. Some have evidence, some do not, as most of this is a verbal conversations. In those cases, I do my best to recall details from memory and find corroborating evidence from internal chat logs with timestamps. I encourage you to read everything presented as it I don't know why I'm struggling to read so much tonight out loud. Presented as to be better informed to the circumstances surrounding the Smash community currently. Yeah, all of this right here, I mean, that's a fine thing to mention. The harassment, all that shit is always terrible. That's an absolutely horrible thing that happens during situations like this, 100%. I also don't think it's wrong for him to mention it here, since this is him being personally attacked, as opposed to like where Bethesda brought this up, where they had done the exact same thing to Mick. Like, that's when it was weird when Bethesda tried to say something like this. But for Alan, I understand bringing this up about being an individual who's now experiencing a whole lot of harassment. So, I mean, I get that. I understand why you'd want to put that there. Well, this is already kind of misleading. Wasn't this in the Smash World Tour statement that they had waited so long for any kind of approval from Nintendo, and then, like, with time running down, this, like, they had to make the decision to go through with it? Or am I misremembering the timeline? Was that 2022 where they just still had radio silence on the licensing and then had to make the announcement, and Nintendo was like, yeah, we understand, we took too long? Or is he talking about a different instance? Are they two separate ones? What? The Smash World Tour was the perfect gambit for VGBC. Information came to us from an anonymous source all the way back in 2020. VGBC was feeling pushed out of the community from losing so much ground to BTS, they wanted something of their own and came up with the Smash World Tour gambit. He's treating this like he's Lelouch from Code Geass. What do you mean, a gambit and losing ground to BTS? It's not a competition. Again, everything I've ever seen from the Smash community orgs is everything's grassroots. Well, it was. So when one thing's succeeding, it helps everything else succeed around them. It's always beneficial. Like, I don't think people are vying for territory or anything like that. I don't know why he's calling it like a gambit. He's the resub Void and the Prime Queen. Smash World Tour doesn't get shut down. VGBC gets their own circuit without the years of negotiation with Nintendo, which they were trying their absolute best to do and were in communication with them for a long, long time, doing everything they could. It's not like they just wanted to go behind their back. Smash World Tour uses the threat of social media backlash against Nintendo to pressure Nintendo into giving them a license, which they didn't do until they had already been declined a license. Like, they didn't pressure Nintendo into giving them a license. They did this to explain why they were shutting down, why they had to shut down. It wasn't leverage to try and get Nintendo to give them a license. Like, it wasn't trying to mount pressure to get them to release the Krabby Patty secret formula to them. It was, we're shutting down and here's why. Smash World Tour gets shut down by Nintendo, and now VGBC is the martyr of the community due to Nintendo. Then the community will rally behind their other events to support them. Which they didn't need. The community already supported them. I don't know how he came up with such a weird view of the scene. Now, maybe things are different behind closed doors, I guess, but they had tons of support. Their YouTube channel was doing nothing but growing. Their events had huge viewership. Like, it's not like they needed this. In fact, this is very bad for them. They lost a lot of money on it and a lot of eyes. I don't really understand that take. Pretty straightforward logic. VGBC wins no matter what. VGBC also knew that Nintendo has never issued a license to any event with the name Smash in it, nor have they licensed in a circuit before. VGBC knew both of these and launched the Smash World Tour anyway. What is this point? They've never licensed anything until Panda. So it's not like the word Smash was the red flag. They've just never licensed anything anyway. Have they? Have they ever licensed anything besides Panda? So what is the word Smash being here? Why does that matter? Is this accurate? Recently been informed the main hotel in San Antonio listed in the Smash World Tour Discord did not have any pre-existing block or any expectation of large groups this weekend. There was no block canceled. It simply never existed. Like, for the event or for the players? That was debunked by 2 people on Twitter already. Well, that was fucking quick. Let me see. Because I already can tell you right now, we at Moist Esports had paid for travel to that area. Like, that was a thing. Where can I find that being debunked? So it'd be quite shocking to realize that that was never happening in the first place. I don't know about the rest of the statement's legitimacy, but to claim the event was never going to happen because no hotel block is ridiculous. People were given stipends/flights for the event prior to its cancellation, plus the TPC venue was booked that weekend. Bear Dog Events LLC, DBA Smash World Tour, money receipt. Okay. This was quite the Allen gambit of lying here with this statement. The rest could be true. We'll still keep reading, but that was quickly debunked. That was a pretty bold one to make a claim on without being 100% sure, because it's easily provable if it was booked or not. I don't know why he'd try and work that angle if it's not real. Scroll down. In which one? I don't want to get hit with the Council of Cock. Oh, it's just more evidence. Also, for context, I'm sure most people didn't read the article. Recently been informed that the main hotel in San Antonio... Additional, that's just a statement from the document. Additional 2 times anecdotal evidence. Top alt player Zamba on a prior thread corroborating on flights being paid already. Statement from the event photographer being hired by Techport for the tournament. So that was a odd claim to make if it's not accurate. So I don't know who informed him of this, but he should have checked at the bare minimum there. This right here is a fine thing to state, like, if they were confused by mixed messages, why didn't they email back? But they weren't confused by mixed messages. According to the Smash World Tour tournament organizers, they were told that the time of unlicensed events is behind them, and then the night before Thanksgiving said they got their email that they are not going to be licensed for this event. So connecting those dots, which anyone would do, is basically saying, you know, you can't really do this anymore, since they were told verbally that that time is gone, and then they didn't get their license. The natural conclusion someone would draw is, we can't do this. And Nintendo is not a company you want to go into a legal battle with. So I could absolutely understand where that would come from. If there was confusion, I'm sure they would have emailed back, but there wasn't because they were told verbally one thing and then received that the rejection of a license. So I don't even think there was confusion. It was pretty put in stone. Keep reading, to be honest. I believe Alan. Yeah, I'm gonna finish it, but he is blatantly wrong about a very big claim right here. This is not accurate according to a couple sources over on Twitter that have shown that this was blocked, like it was booked. So this is a huge red flag if he's lying about something like that. But this wasn't a claim they made. They weren't saying that he sabotaged them or got them shut down. Just that his actions of strong-arming the community with threats against, like, BTS with their relationship with Nintendo made the entire scene difficult. In their statement, they never pinned the blame on him. This is talking about moving around the scheduling around BTS and Smash World Tour and, like, booking over each other and having to be flexible with dates. This is what I was worried he'd focus on. Why would I want Smash World Tour to be shut down? Again, that's just not something they pinned on you, though. It's just pointing out your behavior of leveraging your relationship with Nintendo against TOs for either broadcasting rights or trying to get them to join the Panda Cup, and the difficulty that ensued as a result of that. Like, in their statement, they do not pin him as the one responsible for Smash World Tour being shut down. Just that it was a very hard thing to navigate with what he was doing and then working with Nintendo and just trying to get the, like, tournaments, like, properly set up. Did he, like, did he read the statement? Because they just don't make that claim. They don't. If he should be focusing on debunking his behavior that they were calling out. They never said they think he actually had something to do with it. Everyone was claiming that. Everyone was reading between the lines because after pointing out, like, the threatening to be on the summit and then what happened to them, people connect the dots, which, of course, is the natural line of thinking. Like, well, maybe Alan worked with Nintendo to shut Smash World Tour down as a competitor. But they themselves don't make that claim. They just put his bad behavior out there on what made it so difficult for them to work with everyone else. Like, they just don't make that claim. I guess you could say they indirectly hint at that, which I guess is a fair argument to make. Like, it could be implied by pointing out the behavior. I also don't really get this one. Smash World Tour leadership stood to gain the most out of anyone. How? They lost their biggest event. And not only that, they lost any chance of having, like, a Nintendo relationship because of how incendiary this whole situation has been. It was a net loss for everyone. Legitimately everyone. I don't know what he thinks they gain out of this. Like, community goodwill, they already had that. More eyes on their future events, they already had that. Like, people just watch the events regardless. I don't know why he thinks they gained anything. It's just a full net loss. It's just a bad thing all around. I don't know where he gets this view of like them wanting community dominance. Like I don't think they've ever shown anything like that. They're more than willing to like let tournaments run however they want to run. Join the Panda Cup, don't join the Panda Cup, whatever. But like with Panda, there was the exclusivity to it where they wanted to everything to be exclusive. They wanted all the broadcasting rights. That sounds more like community dominance as opposed to VGBC's events being like, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. VGBC doesn't even charge you to watch party their events. Business competition, but that's completely irrelevant because there's not like a finite pool of watchers. The Smash community watches every tournament. Like they watch all of them equally. They're all very similar in terms of viewership. There's no like community dominance. VGBC had like the best goodwill, but that didn't translate to more viewers. Sidebar, I've been told that someone named LD is claiming I said things. I don't know who LD is, nor do I care. As far as I'm aware, I've never talked to them, never seen them, and never met them in my life. LD is one of the actual biggest people at Beyond the Summit, like a founder. You know him. You would have had to know him, especially since you've already been talking about Beyond the Summit. You've talked to him. You know him. I don't know why he's making these easily provable false claims, such as the hotel never being booked or whatever. I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah, I'll double check. I'm pretty sure LD is one of the founders of Beyond the Summit. Like, been in the scene forever. Like actually forever. So if you just go to like very base level, like if you just want like base level, not even digging too deep, going to Beyond the Summit, founded March 2012, key people are David LD and David Gods. Like, they've been there the whole time. And you've been talking about Beyond the Summit and talking to Beyond the Summit, as you've mentioned in your statement. Thus, you have talked to LD. You know LD. I don't know why he's pretending he doesn't know who that is. I don't know who Liquipedia is. I've never met Liquipedia. That's such a weird claim to make. Here's the background of my two whole personal interactions this year with BTS, or more specifically with one of the most unsavory individuals I've ever had the displeasure of interacting with, Kin Shin, aka Hotbid. Kin is also the one that just dropped the fattest load of receipts on Twitter a moment ago. At least it looks like it at a glance. Voice crack at a glance. He's got like 7 tweets that he queued up here after reading this. So we can go through this pretty soon. Oh, it's a lot more than 7. Holy shit. But yeah, he dropped quite a bit. BTS is a pillar of the community and sets new standards for high quality productions in Smash all the time. Yet you don't know one of the founders, like one of the key people. You've never talked to them in your life, despite talking about the times that you've been trying to like work with them or communicating with them. I thought this was going to be a screenshot of Kin looking terrible here, like of him looking really unreasonable and mean. It just looks like really to the point stuff like, no, that's great. Happy to talk to them. I figured he'd look for like a screenshot that makes Kin look terrible in their conversation. But he just showed a very normal conversation here. This is talking about the broadcasting rights and a possible collaboration. Why would people think a multi-trillion-dollar global company would jump when I snap my fingers? I have no idea. What a loaded sentence. Well, multi-trillion. We've got to snap out of Fantasyland for a moment. They're a huge company that there's no universe or dimension in the multiverse where they're multi-trillion. But no one thought they would. Did he read the statement from them or not? Like, I don't understand. They never said that anyone believed that you would get Nintendo to act. The thing they were calling out is you making the threat of talking to Nintendo about acting. It's leveraging your position negatively against the community that was being called out, not people actually thinking that you will get Nintendo to act on your behalf. Nobody that I've seen, like nobody with a brain, ever thought that. Just that you have, according to multiple people, have made a threat like that to BTS, which is bad. That shows very selfish intent. It's a bad look. Not that people actually thought Nintendo was going to shut down BTS because you asked them to. Multi-trillion yin, I think is what he meant. Why would he say multi-trillion yin and somehow get it confused with dollar? Why are we making these giant leaps for the sake of trying to make sense of this statement? I think he just got a little carried away with how big Nintendo is. They're huge. And in order to illustrate that point, he went with a very massive number to put into perspective how big they are compared to Panda. He just went a little hard on this, which it comes out looking a little silly. It's not the biggest deal. Getting that wrong is not a big deal. It's just a little silly is all. So it looks like the Beyond the Summit people weren't replying to Alan, not wanting to talk to him or work to him, so he's showing the screenshots to show that they weren't receptive to his communication and attempt to work together. Which is a fair thing to show. They didn't like Alan, Alan didn't like them. Looks like Alan kept trying to reach out to make some partnership happen that BTS wasn't interested in.